Evelyn, during the election campaign, the Prime Minister used a lot of podcasters and social media influencers to get out his message. He even paid for some to come to cover the budget, pay for their expenses. And the friendlier the better, like Abby Chatfield from shows like The Bachelor.
So I'd love to know, what is the difference in policies, just some examples, between the Coalition and Labor?
Well, right across the board, there's massive difference. We believe in taking action on climate change and see it as an opportunity. They want to delay action till the 2040s, and they have this nuclear fantasy.
We'll get into that, Albert.
They're opposed to renewables.
Look at her nodding away to all these righteous causes. The question is, are these influential mouthpieces he chooses held to the same standards and given the same scrutiny as us in the more traditional media, Evelyn? Because, for instance, when Chatfield then goes to smear on the new Liberal leader, Susan Lee.
Combo being racist and the leader of a Conservative party, yet also that into numerology. Because the thing is, if you're going to be woo-woo, live the woo-woo.
Check also her hypocrisy, because this is how this same Abby Chatfield reacted when another left-wing podcaster gave her a bit of criticism herself.
Stop lying about my character and my intentions. Please stop dehumanising me. I'm just trying to do what I can to help.
So the question is, Evelyn, what kind of influences is Albanese hanging out with to get his message across, and to what kind of morons must be listening to them?
My goodness, isn't the left just an insatiable beast? It just spares no one, doesn't it? They eat their own. But look, I actually doubt Albanese even knew who Abby Chatfield actually was. And I reckon it was some young staffer that he's hired to organise it all in an attempt to sort of make him appear more relatable. I reckon it's the same person that dressed him in skinny jeans, and then the same person that organised that awful Valentine's Day Instagram reel. I don't know if you remember that, but I have a bit of vomit at the back of my throat remembering it, that cringe, sort of marketing stunt from him. But look, let's be honest. None of this was about political discourse. Absolutely none of this was about truly getting to the bottom of political ideology between the two major parties. It was a shameless stunt by the Labor Party, purely to appeal to those Gen Z TikTokers who get their entire political discourse from a 30-second video that they find on the internet. But Andrew, let's not get too, pessimistic about this. There is hope, because the silver lining to all of this is that when these kids that like these sorts of podcasts and all these little TikTokers, once they graduate from their taxpayer-funded university degrees, they're going to have to enter the real world. They're going to have to pay real taxes and, be faced with reality. And I tell you what, when they are faced with that, they become right-wing real quick.
Well, it hasn't happened to her yet. But James, it is interesting. I mean, if someone was famous on the ABC or whatever, The Guardian, for carrying on like a pork chop like that, absolutely. A Prime Minister would think twice before lowering themselves to actually, use them as a way of getting his message out. But it seems to be different rules for podcasters. Look at that. That's incredible.
Andrew, I think you hold our Prime Minister in far too much esteem.
Yes.
I think the Prime Minister, he's not above cheapening political debate if it works to his advantage. And it did. On TikTok, he got 4.9 million views compared to Dutton's 1.2 million views, and they won the youth vote. So Anthony Albanese doesn't care who he hangs out with as long as it's to his advantage and it helps him win power. And it did. The problem is we all pay the price, because, as I said, it cheapens the political discourse. Abby Chatfield becomes the political conduit through which our young people hear messages about the future of our nation. That doesn't bode well for anybody except, as I said, Anthony Albanese, who's now in the lodge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I want to pick up on something that Evelyn said there, James, because she says, she vomited quietly with some of the really naff things that he did, trying to be cool with the kids. But the point, I think, James, is that a politician who does that is telling the voters they'll do anything for that the voters want. And I think the ultimate turn-off of voters is a politician that won't do that, that sounds like, you know, they're lecturing them, they're hearing a God that other people don't hear, they're marching to a, you know, their own arrogant sort of agenda. And the more relatable, or the more, you know, someone's puppet you seem, the safer you seem as well. And I think that's helped him, don't you?
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, he played this whole election very, very well as compared to Peter Dutton, who to me seemed to be very, very managed. And I would have thought it was the other way around. But Albanese came off as likeable and relatable, even though we all knew he was trying so hard to be likeable and relatable.
Well, I think that's the message there. Albanese might have won some votes by saying, I'm so desperate for your vote, I will even talk to Abby Chatfield. Evelyn Ray, James Macpherson, thank you very much to you both.